Good morning, students. We are in complete lockdown to knock down the novel corona disease. I am Mrs. Anuradha Patnaik is here to take the chapter Federalism to the next level for you all. In the last class, we had a discussion about how Belgium became a federal country and it brought changes in the constitution to empower the regional governments. Today, in this class, I am going to first of all focus on the difference between a unitary country and a federal country. Then what is the difference? First, in a unitary country, there's only one level of government. And if subunits exist, they are subordinate to the central government. But in a federal country, there must be two levels of government. And the subunits are not subordinate to the central government. Each level has its own jurisdiction to function. And state governments are not answerable to the central government for the exercise of their power. Moreover, both the central government and the state government are separately answerable to the citizens. This makes the difference between the unitary and federal form of government. Now, I am going to highlight on the salient features of federalism. The first feature is, in a federal form of government, there must be two levels of government. Second feature is, each tier of the government governs the same citizens, but they have their own jurisdiction to function. Third, the functions and powers of each level of the government is specifically mentioned in the Constitution. That means their powers are constitutionally guaranteed. The important fourth feature is that any kind of amendment or change in the Constitution cannot be made unilaterally. That means for any kind of amendment, both the levels of the government must be consulted. There are many amendments by now have been made, but I am going to speak to you about one such amendment. The 95th Amendment, which was held in the year 2009. That is popularly called as the Constitution Act 2009. This amendment extended the reservation of seats for SC and ST and Anglo-Indians in the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. This shows that this amendment was possible only with the consultation and consent of the two levels of the government. Another important feature of the federalism is that there is the provision of impartial judiciary to interpret the Constitution. In India, Supreme Court exists to interpret the Constitution and to solve any kind of disputes, if at all, occurs between the state and the central government. Supreme Court acts like an umpire and resolves the disputes between the central and the state governments. Another important feature of the federalism is that each level of the government has specific revenue system. And last but not the least important feature of the federalism is that federalism has its two important objectives to fulfill. The first is to preserve and protect the unity and integrity of the nation India. The second objective is to accommodate the regional diversity. Students, with this I come to the end of this session's video. Still more information will be delivered to you and communicated to you in my next videos. Until then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.